Chet, for being a first-year player, uh, looks incredible by every stretch of the imagination. Another player comes in as this wildly long, very well coordinated player at 7 feet tall. Just a crazy ability to make things happen on both ends of the floor. Just about as impressive as Wemby on defense. I think he's been a lot more impressive on offense to this point. But just looking at some of his numbers, second in rookie points at 17.4, third in rebounds, 7.4. Now he's second in rookie blocks per game. So amongst all rookies, he's second. He is fifth in league blocks per game. So along with Wemby, he's top 5 in blocks per game for the NBA. Very impressive. He is fourth in stocks. There's that word again. So
Yep.
if we talk about blocks and steals, 111 through this point of the season. He's fourth in the league. So that's very impressive as well. Now, here's where he differentiates himself from Wemby a little bit. If we talk about efficiency, worlds better. And we'll talk about why here in a second. But his 2-point percentage is 62. That's 67th percentile. His 3-point percentage is 40%, 81st percentile. So he's an excellent shooter already out the gate. Free throw percentage. And again, this is another great determiner of 3-point percentage, overall shooting ability. 83.2%, 81st percentile. So he's already above average shooter from basically every area of the floor, from 2, from 3, from free throw percentage, is all looking very good. So he has a lot of those same strengths as Wemby, great handle for his size, a great shooting form. So for him, it's actually playing out right now. For Wemby, it's more of like, we believe he can do it. For Chet, it's happening. Great ability to get into the paint, finish lobs, be a great rebounder. Even though he's slight frame, he makes all these things happen. And that's before we even talk about his defense. And his defense is incredible as well. But I wanted to highlight that part of his game first because I think that's what separates him from Wemby right now. And I just wanted to make that clear because for me, that's what gives him the edge in the rookie of the year conversation. Some people still will put Wemby first, very fair. But I think because of what Chet is doing on both ends of the floor, being efficient, being a great rim protector, all of the things might put him a little bit farther ahead. But how do you feel about Chet's case right now?
I'm glad we started with Wemby because I just want to read the last line of the notes that I made for myself. I said about Wemby, he's been fantastic and he's been the best prospect in the 2023 draft class because his defense has instantly translated. But rookie of the year is gone because that's how I feel about Chet. I watching Chet, I haven't done my thorough deep dive yet into All Star based off of preliminarily watching a bunch of the candidates. Not only do I feel like Chet should be the rookie of the year, I have him as an All Star. And
Mm,
I can't remember the last time that I've felt that way about a rookie. Even Doncic, who I thought was incredible as a rookie, I didn't have him as an all star.
wow.
So, I mean, this is one of the greatest age 21 seasons of all time. I started looking back through the archives just basically from a data perspective of, okay, defensively, who is contributing the most? Offensively, maybe you adjust for, okay, he is more efficient than a lot of players, but you have to adjust in past eras for, the more clogged spacing, the fact that shooting was less of a priority, the usage rate. Even accounting for all that, I would argue this is one of the 8 best age 21 seasons of all time. And the list for me would be Magic Johnson, Michael Jordan, Shaq, LeBron, Kevin Durant, Anthony Davis, Luka Doncic, Chet. That's
Mm,
how I feel about Chet. Watching him, this is where the gap started to emerge for me watching him versus watching Wemby. I know he has a smaller role and he plays in better circumstances because he has Shea and Jalen Williams, excellent coaching staff. Everyone can kind of shoot. But just watching him individually, his handle, it feels so much better than it even did at Gonzaga 2 years ago. When I'm
mhm.
watching him dribble, he can actually get his arms incredibly low to the point where it looks like he's dribbling from the same point that a wing does. Only he's a 7'2" center. His crossovers, quick and fluid. His decision making, fast. His shot, instantly translated. His defense, I don't need to say much else. You've already said so much about his blocks and his stocks. It's even better than those raw numbers indicate. When you
Mm.
watch him, he can cover up all the space. He can cover up all the problems on the court defensively, and it's the Thunder, so it's not like they have that many concerns anyways. There were
Right.
concerns. Oh, you see his frame; he's so small and scrawny. He's a dog, man. He
He
does
really
not play
is.
like that size. He plays like a man much sturdier than he actually is. I don't think I've done rookie write ups the last 2 years as well. People can go read those if they want. I don't think I've enjoyed watching a rookie as much as I've enjoyed watching Chet.
Looking at the way he plays the game, and then not just him in a vacuum, but how he plays the game within the Thunder system. I
Yep.
think all of his teammates amplify his strengths incredibly well. Working with a guy like Shea, I mean, he has advantages over Wemby. I don't want to, discredit that part of the conversation. But even despite those advantages, he's playing incredible. And Avi, you brought up some legendary names in the
Yes.
comparison between Chet, all these guys talking about rookie seasons, age 21 seasons, and you are on point with those comparisons. I actually went to the Ringer. I read this when it came out. I want to say it was 3 or 4 days ago now.
Oh, okay.
But Zach Cram at the Ringer did an article. He has his weekly updates where he talks about the biggest stories in the league, things that stood out to him every Wednesday. I encourage everybody to check that out on the Ringer. But one of his main segments was Chet's historic rookie season. I want to read two
Oh,
quotes
wow.
from his
Okay.
article that will describe what you're talking about, Avi. There's going to be some names you just mentioned here. So Holmgren has the fourth best box plus minus among all rookies in the past half century. Fourth behind only Arvydas Sabonis, David Robinson, and Michael Jordan. There's that name again.
Yep.
So fourth best box plus minus 50 years. So that's the first quote. Second quote, Holmgren is averaging 17.6 points, 7.6 rebounds, 2.7 assists, 2.7 blocks. Only 12 rookies since 73-74 have averaged at least 17 points and 2 blocks per game. 9 Hall of Famers, plus Holmgren, plus Wemby, plus Joel Embiid. I mean, there
Oh
you
my
go.
God.
There you go. I mean, when we look at what Chet is doing, we have to narrow the field all the way down to Hall of Famers. That's how incredible he's been so far. So I think if you're on the same tier as some of the greatest players to ever play in age 21 at your age 21 season, I mean, hey, what better case is there to be rookie of the year? What better case is there to be an all-star? Because I mean, we're talking about advanced stats, we're talking about box scores, we're talking about efficiency marks, we're talking about the eye test. You just mentioned some of those things he's improved upon since he entered the league from Gonzaga. But I mean, all of these facts together, you pull it all together. I mean, just incredibly polished, effective. He battles against the best big man. He does have some limitations physically. I watched him battle against Jokic in Denver. I mean,
Yeah.
obviously he had no chance. I mean,
I
Jokic
mean,
just
that's Jokic.
like a little kid. Yeah, but I mean, he does that to everybody. So that's not necessarily a knock on him. I mean, he's doing so many things so well. So I just wanted to highlight that because it reinforces the points you brought up about Chet's ability to influence the game from a historic level. So that's how well he's playing so far. And I'm so excited for the Thunder and his game individually because there's no telling where they can go. And the Thunder are in the elite of the elite because of how fast Chet has adapted to the NBA.
Exactly. I wrote about the Thunder last year, right? And last year, when I was writing about the Thunder, I was really excited about them. I thought 2025 might be the year. Okay, finally, they're starting to make themselves championship contenders. Watching Chet just plug himself into the system, and it's like night and day. Last year, when I'm watching the Thunder, I feel like I'm watching them have to cover up for the fact that they don't have a real center. So they're throwing all these smoke and mirrors defensive concepts, just swiping at the ball, being a chaos defense with the hopes that nobody makes it to the paint because they don't have anybody there who can block shots.
Right.
Now we have Chet. Okay, great. Yeah, okay, you beat one of us. Oh, I guess Jalen Williams got beat this one time. Whatever. Oh, look who's there. Oh, it's Chet. He's just going to block your shot. And then he'll go back in transition. He'll be the trailer 3-point shooter. Everyone on that team screens for each other. There will be possessions where he's screening for Isaiah Joe, and then Isaiah Joe is screening for him. As a passer, already he knows exactly where to go with the ball. He's a great extra passer. He's incisive at times when asked to be. As a passer looking for cutters to the hoop, he does everything well right now. And again, I said right now, I think he might be an all-star. Here's the list of players who I think he might be an all-star over right now. Desmond Bain, Jamal Murray, Paul George, James Harden, Zion Williamson, Sabonis, Kyrie Irving, Wemby, Ingram, and CJ McCollum. Like, this is a really, really strong year for the All-Star campaign. We'll get to that later. But especially in the West, that's like a future episode.
Yep.
Everyone is healthy for the first time in years. There are very few players this year who are injured who would typically be an all-star consideration. Mm-hmm. And despite that, I'm saying right now, I think he's an all-star. And I can't explain how crazy that is. Just go watch the Thunder, people. Wow. Just do yourself a service. Go watch them play.
Just do it. Listen to the man. Do what he says. Do yourself a favor. Check out one of the best rookies in modern history. That is Chet Holmgren in a nutshell, what he's doing for the Thunder. One more quick point before we move on.
Yep.
Chet's defensive ability is crazy on this team. It's like it's bolstering what was already a good defense. So he didn't have to come in here and transform a defense that was absolutely awful, that was 20th or 25th or something like that. Despite the problems at the rim you just mentioned, not having a true rim protector, having Jalen Williams play a lot of the 5 for them last year, they were still a above average defense. Yes. I want to say they finished 12th or 13th in defensive rating last year. Let me a quick second to actually check on that. 14th last year, according to Basketball Reference. So just above average. This year, they're 7th in defensive rating. So we're talking about a top 10 team on defense, thanks to the exploits of Chet, along with a number 5 offensive rating. So if we look at their net rating, which is 3rd, their offense and their defense, the Thunder, due in part to Chet's incredible rise, quick rise, they are in the, based on the numbers, a title contender. If you're top 10 in both, most of the time you're an elite team and you're in the hunt. Now, I mean, we can have a conversation later about whether they really are contenders, but they should at least be in the conversation just because your marks are so good, and Chet is a big part of that.